Hi, my name is Lisa Matter, and this is my toddler room. When I was a toddler teacher several years ago, I sometimes, like I'm doing right now, gathered a lot of information and found it hard to put it into practice. And one of those pieces of information that I really enjoyed putting into practice was taking a little bit of data on a new practice, just taking a tiny bit of data and seeing what happens. One idea that I came across, and I'm going to show you a link to this, and I'll put it in the notes below, is the idea of authentic communication with children. And a really short summary is don't ask, don't tell, and don't praise. This comes from a colleague whose name is Tom Drummond, and he puts in a lot of wonderful background on that. But I'm going to tell you about what I did to take data on those things. When we tell toddlers what to do, it's their job to say no to us. When we ask questions of toddlers, sometimes it's still their job to say no to us. And when we give them vague praise, it doesn't help them grow and understand what they're going to do next. So instead, we can provide information. And I realized that I was asking a lot of questions, giving a lot of vague and non-specific praise, and telling toddlers what to do, which was making my classroom rough some of the time. And so what I did is I got a piece of masking tape and I put it on my wrist right here. We're washing our hands all day long in the toddler classroom, so I can't use this part of my hands, kind of down lower on my wrist. And masking tape, I hope you have in your toddler classroom because it's one of the most powerful art materials that toddlers can explore with. And each time, and then I kept a permanent marker in my pocket, the same marker that I was using to ask children's permission to write their name on the back of their artwork, make sure their water bottle was labeled, all of those important things. And every time I found myself going to ask a question, give a direction, or just give praise, I just made a little tick mark on that piece of tape. Now, what I could have done is stuck those pieces of tape in a little row on the wall to see how the number of tick marks tallies was shrinking over time. But what actually happened was after 3 days, I stopped myself from doing it because I knew I was going to have to get out the marker and mark it. And then later, I would periodically return to that when I felt like the classroom was getting into a big no space where a lot of children were needing to do more work to assert themselves. I said, well, it's probably something I've changed as much as something they're going through. So let me work on my part. Let me check how I've been doing on not giving directions, not giving vague praise, and not asking children questions that they didn't want to answer. So what do you do instead? Well, when I found myself saying, don't jump off the stairs, I can give children instead information about what they can do when they're walking down the stairs after they have washed their hands at the sink. I can name what they are doing. You're holding onto the handle on your way down the stairs. That's a safe way to get to the bottom. I can provide examples, 1 step, 2 step down to the bottom that play with language as well as play with what their bodies are doing. This is my first attempt at providing a very short video, and I'd love to get your feedback now that you have heard this. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what you'd like to hear me talk about next in the toddler room. And one question that you have, because unlike the toddlers, I'll be happy to answer your questions. I hope you have a great day and keep up doing the great work that you do.